I always kind of wondered when this day would come. You know, we've had e-bikes for a while now, and more and more of my friends started getting them. I started seeing them out on the trail a lot more often. When I talked to my buddies about it, we said, well, when e-bikes do this, it'll be perfect. Or when e-bikes can do this, or, you know, we talked about how much range they would have, or how much power they would have, or the efficiency, or, oh, wouldn't it be cool if it could do this or do that? One of my biggest hangups for the longest time was the little screens that they offered on the e-bikes would never like tell you how much percentage battery life you had. Didn't seem like a big deal, just put on there, is it 88% or 22%? Instead of like the 4 bars or the 5 bars. Anyway, I think we've kind of got to that point that my friends and I have been talking about for years, which is kind of e-bike perfection. We've got this Avinox motor that is incredible. And what makes it incredible and unbelievable is how smooth it is. It just feels like you're riding a normal bike with a little less effort and a little more speed. It's unbelievable. It's paired with this Pivot, you know, kind of like a Pivot switchblade style trail bike from Pivot, and it's called the AMP'd, the Shuttle AMP'd, and it's unbelievable. I think for the first time in my life, I'm using the word unbelievable in the right context. Thank you to Salt Cycles for getting me this AMP'd e-bike. It has been so much fun to ride. Come on this ride with me and we'll talk more about this unbelievable e-bike. All right, let's just pop it into turbo here, out of auto. So it goes auto, eco, trail, and then here's turbo. I mean, it's just, it's insane. It's insane. The bike is bananas. I mean, you get that really nice pivot handling. It's just so controlled. To describe this trail, really rocky, lots of kind of 6-inch to about 1.5 foot ledges and little drops in the trail. Wow. It feels like probably a slightly heavier Pivot switchblade, you know, really. What are we, like a 63.5 degree head to angle about, and maybe 460 reach on this size medium. Probably pretty similar to a Pivot switchblade pedal bike. I think the extra weight makes it handle just like even more damp feeling. It's crazy. Wow. Yeah, that rear end feels so good. The suspension on Pivot bikes is just second to none. Paired up with this bike that just is such a smooth, I mean, all the e-bikes go up the trail pretty quick, you know? So how do you differentiate between them? Well, this one's very quiet. The Avinox motor is very quiet, and it just is so smooth. That's wild. Oh, yeah. Jeez. That is so fun. Woo! Wow. So as you can see from my ride today, I'm just gonna touch on quickly climbing. Leaving it in the auto mode all the time for me and my riding style has been really nice. So it's kind of like off auto. Auto kind of just does like everything. It just kind of matches your intensity or kind of your vibe. I don't know how to explain it, but, and I'm sure if you go to Pivot's website, I've linked it down below, they'll be able to tell you all the stuff that I'm probably gonna miss in this e-bike review. And I should just mention a quick disclaimer. I am more of like a cross-country, short travel trail bike reviewer here on YouTube. I don't get a ton of time on e-bikes. I've ridden a bunch of e-bikes, but I don't dive into it real deep because I don't spend a lot of my time on e-bikes. So there's a disclaimer. Anything that I missed can be found in the links down below at Pivot's website. So the auto button function that I'm on right now is kind of the one that I felt the most like I was just riding like a normal e-bike. Sometimes in the past when I've ridden e-bikes with different motors, there's like kind of this clicky on-off sensation happening. Like as soon as you start to pedal, it's like, oh, the motor kind of says, oh, I'm supposed to be adding assistance. So you like feel this like jerk or this lurch of power. Surge of power is probably the better word. And on the amped, the shuttle amped with the Avinox motor, you don't feel that at all. It's just such a smooth delivery of power in between pedaling and not pedaling. Again, that pedaling is what's initiating the motor to add assistance. And it doesn't have that surge of power that feels unwelcome. Hopefully that makes sense. It's clear in my head and it's clear in my experience when I'm out riding. I can totally differentiate between other e-bikes that I've ridden and this one. The way the power is delivered is very smooth, particularly in that auto setting. Now, as I click up the dial here, it goes to eco, kind of low level assistance, trail, more assistance, and then turbo. I mean, turbo's full blast. It's nuclear. It's insane. And out on the trail, it can be a bit much, particularly on single track. And this is a very powerful bike. I think it has 130 Newton meters of torque and up to 1,300 watts of assistance. It's incredible. 800 watt hour battery. I think I'm saying that right. And I've had it for over 3 weeks now. I've ridden it quite a bit, and the thing I want to speak to the very most is, you know, it climbs well, it does everything really well. I want to speak more about what the bike actually feels like out on the trail. And although it's not like a super lightweight e-bike, like I used to own the Pivot Shuttle SL. It was like they're very lightweight e-bike. This one is heavier, but it shares with that Shuttle SL kind of that like, you don't really feel like you're on this super heavy e-bike. You feel like you're just riding along, you feel like you're sitting in the bike, and I feel pretty in control of how I want to ride, particularly on the downhill. You know, I can just get the bike out of my way and down the trail in a way that feels natural and kind of like riding a normal bike. If you had told me 5 years ago, this is what we have in the future, I would have believed you, because I've seen what's happened with computers, how much they've gotten better over the years, and technology just gets better. But having never ridden this Avinox motor before, and then pairing it with what I think is some of the very best built and engineered bikes, you know, Pivot cycles, it's just the best of both worlds, just like coming together. As far as the ride experience, this is hands down the e-bike that I would choose of the dozen or so that I've ridden at this point. It's just very, very good. And what I look for in an e-bike experience when I'm out riding is what feels the most natural and intuitive, like an actual real bike, you know, that doesn't take away from the actual experience of biking. This does that. And then number two, I like a quiet and smooth delivering of the power from the motor. And that's what this Avinox motor does. It's unbelievable. To say I'm impressed is an understatement. It's very exciting to see where we've come with e-bikes. So thank you to Chris and the guys over at Salt Cycles for getting me this bike for review. I've enjoyed riding it the last couple of weeks, and they have these in stock. Chris is the king of like custom building. So if there's something special that you want to swap out, you know, I put my bars on here. Every bike I review, I put my own bars on, so I have the same kind of touch points and width and feel, but he's happy to help you custom build your bike in any way that you want. One other thing I was going to mention is this is the SRAM drivetrain, and you don't need to charge the battery on there. It's hooked into the system, so it's just always charged. There's lots more that I'm sure I missed that you're probably interested to know. It's linked down below. Overall, incredible riding bike. All right, now the single track. Oh man, the bike is just so like intuitive. And like, I ride a lot of cross-country bikes, like lightweight bikes. So getting on an e-bike and feeling that little bit of extra weight can feel kind of different for me. But of the e-bikes I've ridden, this feels, of the heavier e-bikes, feels very intuitive. It's like easy to ride. You feel like you're just sitting right in the bike. Geometry's perfect. It's fun. It's just really, really fun. And I think I like I've ran a bunch with the assistance off on the downhill, but I actually think I prefer it in the auto. You set it in the auto setting, and it feels kind of like the same way an actual non-e-bike, like pedal bike, would feel. It obviously doesn't feel the same as a, you know, light cross-country bike on all these slower, kind of flowy trails, and it can handle that higher speed, kind of chunkier trails. Yeah, the auto. I like the auto setting. Super fun. Woo!